And if I
Really?
know you said you only debate with your equals, all other you teach. There's a lot of people who want to learn.
God, I hate. Do you know, Ranos, do you know what F.D Signifier is?
Sure, yeah, I know.
God, I hate that fucking loser fuck piece of shit. Fuck, I hate him so much.
Excited, but I need to. I would love to. I would love to believe that this is actually Abba, but I would need to see his face.
Not happening. But hello.
He's been trolling the chat, so it is him. It is 100% him.
I find that hard to believe, but
all right,
we can keep moving. What did you do, Abba?
I didn't do anything.
No, like what were the things that happened? I'm just trying to check. What transpired to have us in conflict?
I don't even know. I don't even know if there is a conflict at all.
So Pearl Destiny Diver, I'm going to remove you. It is Abba, but I feel like you're kind of trolling, and I do actually want to have a meaningful conversation around what is happening.
That's Baba.
It is him. I'm 100% sure. I think he's afraid to say it's him, which is weird. I thought you were out. Well, you don't care about an alpha, but yeah.
Well, I don't know if you guys want to discuss like the underlying issue, or if you want to get into the Twitter back and forth or whatever, that's different. But if you want to talk about specifically what Killer Mike said and your views on that generally, I'm good. That's your call.
I want to know why, if you think posting that you sent $10,000 to the police department in Atlanta was a good move.
Oh, I can't. I don't know. I can't get into that.
All right. Well, have a wonderful day.
All right. Take care, guys.
Bye. All right. Sorry. Welcome again, FD. Do you think you were being goaded by Destiny?
Definitely was being goaded.
Why did you take it? The bait.
I fell off the wagon. Pretty hard. I was doing good. It was all kinds of drama surrounding me for weeks, months, and just that he's a master at his craft, Destiny, in terms of like getting people to react to him. And so I thought, well, maybe there's an opportunity here to find a way to either have something happen that I want to happen for an organization I'm supporting, or at least tease out this problem to its eventual conclusion, where I don't have to worry about this as much anymore. And
do you think that's actually, because like in my head, it's not just $10,000 to the police department. Do you think his subscribers are also going to be donating to the police department?
According to what I've seen, they already have.
All right. So do you think that was now a bad move then? In real world, like online.
So like, it's in real world, not really. Like a couple of tens of thousands of dollars to the police is a drop in the bucket to the typical police budget. It's like numerically speaking, is relatively insignificant. That would have been huge to the organization I'm supporting, which also received a lot of money, I'll say, in the process from supporters that were outraged by what Destiny did. So like in real world terms, it's really nothing real except for maybe like an awesome opportunity that may have came, which I doubt would have ever come. In terms of the internet, I definitely wouldn't. I wish I wouldn't have bothered because I like one thing. I don't know if that came across. I'm not sure where we are in the story, but I had Destiny blocked for a reason. Like Destiny, he's pretty much on the record that he needs people to interact with him for content. He's been goading me for years. I've commented on him here and there and commented on the reality of his content, which is that he goads people on his platform just to, produce content. And so this was just another attempt by him to do that. And in a better world, I've kept away.
A lot of people ask me this behind the scenes, and you said that Destiny is racist. Do you care to explain why?
Destiny, first and foremost, centers himself in Black issues, has no problem exploiting Black concerns and Black tragedies for his personal gain. Destiny said that protesters should be shot and mowed down by white militias when there were protests going on in 2020. Destiny had a whole...
Wait, he said that?
Yes.
Oh, I need that clip.
You Google it. I'm sure you know what? I'll see if I can find it real quick.
I believe you, by the way. I'm not asking. I just need to see it too.
Okay, it's out there. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, that's why he was kicked off Twitch. Destiny makes racist jokes where it's not even like good racial humor, where it's like, you know, like maybe a Bill Burr, you know what I'm saying, where it's like or what's the brother's, well, he's not a brother, what's the white guy's name, where you can tell they're in community with black people. Him and his wife just got divorced. He got a black wife and he just divorced. What's the white dude's name? Gary Owens, I think.
Yeah.
So like there's like white people that make, you know, kind of good jokes about race, but they work, and it's like racism isn't the joke. Where Destiny, like the punchline will be, I'm saying the N-word, you know, yuck, 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 yuck. You know, just a lot of things. Like, is Destiny as bad or as overtly racist as the neo-Nazis he used to debate against? No, but I think we all can agree that Destiny's form of racism is more prominent and insidious, in that it's harder to call out because people, you know, if you're not using the N-word, which he does, then people are less likely to be able to point it out to others and take issue with it.
So your issue with Destiny then is you've categorized him as racist, and you think the people who
not just a racist, but a clout demon who I don't want to deal with.
Gotcha. And you're not going to debate him, I presume.
We would have to really up that fund and get it actually paid.
Gotcha.
But no.
For a good cause.
For a good cause.
Stepping down from he is racist, he's over there. What do you think about the black people who support him? And do you actually think they are, quote unquote, Uncle Toms in the way that you've described them?
Well, this is complicated because I actually just did a video. I did a live myself yesterday and released it today where I talked to a handful of Destiny's black fans.
I watched.
And so like it's a bell curve. There's a scale here. I think some are just like your typical, you know, Uncle Tom for whatever reason. And there's a lot of reasons why people end up in that Uncle Tom space. But one guy really touched me in like discussing his plight because he is what I call the fly in the milk experience, where it's like he didn't choose to be inundated, like surrounded by white people growing up and thus exposed to all this, you know, aggressive white racism and desensitized to it, right? Like I made the comment that there's some privilege in growing up around in a black space and that, you know, you have that black cultural context. And so I am not desensitized to racism where I feel like it's okay for me to experience it in my interpersonal relationships because that's just how it is. Whereas this guy doesn't have that option. And so he might not, so like, I don't like regarding all people who move in patterns I don't appreciate or understand Uncle Tom's categorically, but it's definitely a term or a situation that is relevant in terms of the black people in this community. You know, I think I saw you share a tweet that I put where they put the picture of that was their response to being called Uncle Tom's. It's like, we sure are. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like I you know, in my better self, I want to absolve them of some of that critique, but
everyone is just getting strays. Like in the attacking of Destiny, like also the black men who support you and the black people who support you. Does that framework work for those people? Like, does it not, in your mind, force them to double down as opposed to like reconsider, or do you care about how they approach this, like changing their minds?
I don't make content or engage with changing minds always at the forefront. You know, I'm trying to work on that and do better with that. Like in my content, I'm just trying to educate and hope that education changes the way people understand the situation. But I'm not on the tip of, especially with like black conservatives, you know, of like, let me go in and show you all the studies and things to help like change, you know, the way you see things. Ideally, like in my best self, definitely. That's why I did the thing yesterday, because I was like, all right, I came out swinging. There was all this, there's like other drama around Uncle Tom behavior. I don't know how much you got into.
I watched all of it. Why did you remove the video, by the way?
Oh, because it's back up. Whenever I do that's just YouTube business. If I do a live on my main channel, I don't let it sit there because the algorithm treats it differently. So it's on the side channel now.
Gotcha. So you don't go in always with the rule, like, I need to change your mind, even though that's something that you generally do. And so you thought about it, you decided to have a live stream and talk to some of his fans. Do you think they're black conservatives, or I thought he was liberal?
So I mean, if you've been paying attention to me, you know how I feel about liberals.
Yeah.
But So I don't know what to make of all of his fans. I know that all of his fans are okay with his racist behavior, right? So that's a mark, and that's something that's a thing to note in my book. And so I know that a lot of his fans are young. And in general, when we're talking about a lot of these, edgy boy spaces, they tend to be socially isolated. So when I'm like engaged with that thought process, I am more empathetic and more patient and more like, how can I be helpful? Which is where that stream came from. When I've been triggered and I've been trolled, you know what I'm saying? I am less capable. And the reality is more people will see the video that went up today that has like a really meaningful conversation around these issues than will see the Twitter beef that I had with him and his homie Abba. So
there is a kind of tug of war, if you will, that exists with, even when in your response to the Killer Mike video, I think you said that you don't believe in personal agency in the way that we're talking about work and accountability and be better. Do you still hold that view, and why? And is that your problem with sort of conservatives, Black conservatives?
I think that's a little reductive of my views. So I don't believe in personal agency to the extent of using it as like a what's the word, like a way to influence policy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So like obviously, and I said this in I don't know if you watched the video. Like I kind of explained. I heard is it Prince Petty? Yes, I heard Prince Petty kind of speaking to like how my take was straw man. And I explained in the video where I was like, I used to work with kids. I used to work I used to be a social worker. I used to work with anti-sex trafficking. So I've worked directly with people who have made bad decisions and need to have personal agency, yada, yada, yada. And, like when I'm sitting, when there's like young girls who get caught up in sex trafficking or young boys who get caught up in, street activity that would come through my office doors, I wouldn't sit down and talk to them about systemic racism and structural barriers to Black, economic viability. I would say, here's what you need to do to get out of trouble. If you do these things, and I wouldn't say this part, if you do these things and you get a little lucky, you will probably be in a better position further down the line, right?
All right, so it sounds like you don't fundamentally disagree with Killer Mike, but you understand how his statements can be weaponized.
The thing is, that's why I called you smooth in the chat a second ago. Y'all go back and watch. I don't know if you watched the video. Go back and watch the video where I called Destiny. You probably only watched the part where I called Destiny out. Watch what I say about Killer Mike. My point is that Killer Mike should know better. And once upon a time, in my imagination, maybe he did, that when you put Black people, especially Black men, in front of the camera, the goal is to get them to undermine Black issues in some form or fashion. And so I don't know if we all know. I feel like, studies show, I feel like, and I've experienced that most Black people know that racism is our biggest problem in this country. And it feels like we can't do anything about it. But we're going to keep on talking about it because it's not going to let y'all like get over the fact that the problem is racism. This doesn't mean, go ahead.
So that's the thing though, like even in you just explaining it now, my issue is whether or not, when I see a Black person, Black man, because you just said Black man, speaking, and their voice is amplified, and it does undermine Black community broadly. I don't know how to fully take away accountability from the speaker, particularly when we're on YouTube, where you can literally say anything you want, and you choose to continuously say things that undermine the Black community and undermine it in ways that I think should be obvious. Like if like I would be for all of us fighting systemic racism if all the issues in the communities weren't happening simultaneously, and everyone is saying ignore the issues in the community and let's fight racism. And while I do agree about the weaponizing from Killer Mike and how certain people can say, see, even that Black guy agrees that you should pull yourself up by the bootstrap, it feels like we are very afraid to talk about some of the issues internally that might be a product of racism, but is so divorced that it's very hard to pin it to racism.
I mean, I don't know if that's true. I feel like I've had that conversation about like Black people's issues my whole life, in terms of like, we need to do better as a people. Black people are our own worst enemy. Like that's like if you watch my last video, does anybody F in the chat if you remember the movie Lean on Me? and you were forced to watch that movie over and over and over again.
And I also watch a video on it, and I do agree with you. And in the introduction where they're thinking about the jungle, and we see like people
acting like animals.
Yeah, well,
being depicted as animals, like that's what the goal of that was.
So I agree with you on very specific circumstances, and I even agree that we talk about this within our homes sometimes, a lot of the times. But it feels like, in an attempt to address the system, we ignore what is happening internally. Like, and I think there's an overcompensation internally in an attempt to fix the system.
Yeah, I just don't agree with that. I don't.
Yeah, I think that's a philosophical difference.
Yeah. And I feel like this is how we went around and around a lot last time we talked.
Yeah.
And I don't like. I got cursed out by my wife for being up so late with you, arguing last time, Themis. So I don't want to.
Yeah, we don't have to. I don't think we have to have this conversation though. So philosophical differences aside, and to be fair, let me admit this. I don't know which one it is, and I've admitted that. Like, do I focus on the system or agency? I don't know. I know both are important. I just don't know.
Can I offer my reason why I do focus on systemic?
Yeah.
Because that's the one we can't get over. Like you walk outside and you say, I'm a Black person that takes personal agency. Everybody's going to applaud you and put a microphone in your face and give you a show, etc. But if you say systemic racism is a problem, they're going to stop critical race theory from being taught in your classrooms. And so that's like, if we were in a situation where the understanding of systemic racism was a prominently understood thing across like American ideology and not just something that a large chunk of Black people believed in, then I wouldn't be such a big proponent of talking about it. But because people look at you like you're off, like you're goofy when you say it, I'm going to keep saying that.
So I actually can appreciate that. My perspective is a bit different in that, as an immigrant, when I came here, like, people usually say immigrants think they're better than Americans. I don't know why that is a thing, but as an immigrant, when I came here, I looked at African Americans in particular as like the pinnacle of Black success, like globally. And so, like, my coming here, I just always assumed we were all doing well. And then I was in a bubble, so I just assumed that was true. It is odd to me when I look at just the genius of Black people that it feels like there is an undermining, and this feels very Republican. I promise I don't mean to sound like this, but there is it feels like we undermine the capacity of Black people when we don't tell them how good we can be, even in the system. And that's an unfair task, because you're in a system that is not made for you and against you, but you still can do amazingly well in said system. And then I think for you, I think you said this, or I might have dreamt this, but I have a map of sort of all the riots in Black neighborhoods for like a 100-year period, a bunch in Florida, then in Georgia, all over the U.S.
With Chicago, yeah.
Yeah, and so maybe there is also a fear that maybe if I do, then that will cause retaliation from white power structure. I don't know. How do you respond to that before we move from it?
I don't know if I have any major disagreement. It's a complex situation. Like, I have two sons. My oldest son is relatively keen to issues of race. My youngest son seems oblivious. And I don't know which one is better. You know what I mean? Like, do I let my younger son, I want my older son to be more oblivious, and then he's just fearless and just out there just trying his best, whatever. And then when he encounters racism, it crushes him. Like, he feels like he was unprepared, and he internalizes things greatly, because that's part of like why it's important to bring up the system, because the oppressed people will internalize the worst about themselves, right? So, or do I got that backwards, but you get my point. Like, either one of those situations, as you said, in a broken system has its pitfalls. So like, I just don't know. But look, I feel like we wanted to get into the mess.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't want to get cursed out. I'm supposed to be editing. I always get in trouble when I'm down here editing and it's late, and I see my face pop up. You know what I'm saying?
I wasn't sending out the bat signal, but I did. So
last time somebody emailed me, I was getting hibachi, and I got an email. It said, "Themis dragging you." I'm like, "Themis? Why is Themis dragging me?"
I don't drag anyone ever. I have never dragged a single soul in my entire life, ever.
Right.
I don't
No,
think
it's,
that-
it was. It's. I
No,
wouldn't
no,
have
no.
came back if it wasn't all love. You know, disagreements aside.
Before I move to the mess, then quickly, Kay, Petty, do you guys have anything?
I actually think what Abba did was fine if he didn't actually donate anything tangible to the police department. I thought it was a good troll. Destiny, not okay with it.
FD, do you watch Destiny, like his show?
I dabble. Like
Why? Like, I just want.
I find Destiny entertaining. Like when he's like, I feel like, you know, we have different overall different audiences with some crossover, but there's an audience that crosses over here that I'm sure appreciates Destiny's dunks on Manosphere and Red Pill nonsense. And and I also appreciate those dunks and on Red Pill nonsense.
Wait, so you understand the appeal and you enjoy the show, but you want other Black people that watch his show to recognize why they shouldn't watch his show?
I want people to watch Destiny for what he is, which is a kind of like a circus performer. And people see Destiny as like a thought leader, and especially when it comes to Black issues, which is, I think, just unhealthy for Black people. So like in a both and situation, right? Like I don't know. There's lots of things that I still listen to hip hop. Hip hop has lots of negative things.
Yeah, but this now doesn't make sense. Because if you understand why it's appealing, I guess, because you yourself watch it, I don't understand.
Mess.
Huh?
It's mess, right? Like,
so then are you trying to stop other people? So no, now
I'm not trying to stop people from watching. I'm not trying to stop. I couldn't stop people from watching Destiny, like overall. I'm trying to get people to stop bringing Destiny into Black people's issues, like for real. You know what I'm saying? It's like
you find it entertaining.
I don't watch his stuff involving Black people. Like his anti-red pill stuff is the only reason I've watched him when he clowns Sneeko, and you know, Fresh and Fit in them. Like I've seen that. I've seen, you know, his shorts for that. Like I don't watch his like streams and whatnot. But like, you know, if his short pops up and he's calling Pearly things an idiot.
Regarding Destiny coming into Black people's beef, which I think is weird, but do you think this is something that shouldn't be allowed? Not allowed, since we can't like take away people's free will, obviously, but is this something that you think is inappropriate?
I mean, like, so I feel like you can't progress Black issues realistically without having, you know, at a large scale without having white allies. The question is Destiny an ally? You know what I'm saying? Does Destiny really want better for Black people, or do Black people make for good content? And I would say it's the latter. Destiny's said as much himself, you know, that he likes to have people that provide him good conversations and entertain him. Like it's if you paid attention, like, and don't get me wrong, like I've done videos about drama, right? So like I had to sit there and evaluate what was really going on. If you pay attention to Destiny, what he does on Twitter is he says really inflammatory and offensive things that he couldn't possibly stand behind. He gets people like myself to react and jump on his stream so they can set him straight, which is you know, not a wise move, right? He then, it's called what is it, Mott and Bailey? He then retracts his position to something much more reasonable to make you look unreasonable for coming on with such vim and vigor. And Destiny is an excellent, you know, performative debater. So
wait, I feel like these are underhanded. Do you think Destiny is an intellectual? Just before we get really into the mess that I'm about to start now, do you think Destiny is an intellectual? Define it how you want.
Destiny doesn't like read or research. He's clever and witty.
All right.
Can I give you a compliment, Themis?
Yeah.
You're way better than Destiny.
Oh, I know that.
You have the.
Shut up, boy. This fire from a hobby boy. So no, I won't record for your homie boy.
But I want to make this distinction. Like you are quick on your toes. You know how to turn around a conversation. You know how to spin if you have to spin or pivot, and you actually do research and read.
Yup.
And that's the difference to me.
Period. You know me, I love a compliment.
Yeah. See,
I have one more question, and this I'm just interested because you're here, and like I don't know how much of the show you were watching, but I had never like seen your content or anything, so this is all kind of new to me. And I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it because like Themis, even when it was just me and you and we were talking, I was like, why?
Yeah.
So since you're here, let me ask you. Do you think that talking about someone like Destiny or responding to Destiny will help your viewership since Destiny has such a huge platform?
No, my like main fan base hates that I even bothered. Like if there's one thing that I get that gets me into rooms talking and like explaining myself when I really shouldn't, it's the idea that this was a clout chase. And Themis can tell you, because I talked about it 100 times last time I was here. I'm doing pretty well for my intended goals with content. My channel is growing faster.
I guess I'm trying to see why would, for me and people in the audience, some people love this about me, some hate this about me, but like if you have these, you think the man's a racist, you have these certain views about him, you're saying it doesn't have anything to do with increasing views for yourself. Why would you watch? Why do you talk about him? And again, I don't hardly know who Destiny is really, so I'm not defending him or anything. I'm just asking you because you're here.
Let me clarify. I don't really talk about Destiny. Destiny I think Destiny has all of like 30 seconds of airtime on my main channel, and all 60 of my videos or 50 something of my videos, I've maybe mentioned him 2 or 3 times for like 10-second, cutaway gags, because it's a running joke in my community.
Was his name ever in the title of any of your videos?
No. On my side channel, the first time he's ever been in the title of any of my videos was when this happened, after he came for me, because I have had him blocked because I don't want to deal with him. His fans know his routine. They know that he needs people to become what they call orbiters. They come into Destiny's orbit and he picks and chooses people as he wants them, and then they do stuff and to entertain him and his fans. So his fans, many of them who enjoy me, have been needling me to talk to him and debate him about something since I become prominent on this platform. So like I genuinely, I put it on my grandma, could care less about Destiny and like desire to actually have his attention. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, I get it.
Like you ever had a hater, and it's like somebody don't like you, so you pay attention to them because they don't like you. They know they got ill will out for you, and every once in a while you throw out a subliminal to let them know that that they're a hater.
How did you first find out that he didn't like you? I'm just trying to get background information.
He talks about me. He talks about me a nice amount. I could throw some clips out. I got a clip. Because I was planning on. No, give me 1 second.
I thought you were with. I mean, I'm here for this, but I thought you were with FD because you were definitely caping for him before he came out.
No, again, this is not. And this is the thing. Like, I very much live in the gray. I like to figure things out. I like to know why things are happening. I ask a lot of questions. I'm very much like not trying to make any concrete decisions about things before knowing as much as I can. That's just how I am in general. But since you're here, FD, that's why I'm asking you all these questions, because we talked about it before you got here. And I definitely understood.
Shit, I didn't even do that. Hold up.
I definitely understood why you felt the way that you felt when he called you out with that tweet or whatever. Like, I understood that.
But understand, like, I'm putting it. Try this one, Themis. I'm sorry. This is what Destiny's been doing every few months or whatever to me.
Biggest inhibitor.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. Go ahead.
God, I hate. Do you know, Random? Do you know what F.D Signifier is?
Sure, yeah, I know.
God, I hate that fucking loser, piece of shit. Fuck, I hate him so much.
Wait, who does this? Wait, let me
what in the world? Okay. So when was that? Was that recently?
That was like maybe last year. And this is he does this like every once in a while.
So he has like an annual or semi-annual.
Every once in a while, because here's what happens. Every once in a while, drama erupts in the online left. And somehow he inserts himself into it. I think this is because one of my white homies, Noah Sampson, said something negative about him, and I like responded to a tweet. You know what I mean? And so, like, listen, keep going.
I know, I'm gonna play it over. I was not expecting that. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't bad.
The biggest inhibitor. God, I hate. Do you know, Random? Do you know what F.D Signifier is?
Sure, yeah.
I wasn't even on the
God, I hate
topic.
that fucking loser, piece of shit. Fuck, I hate him so much. Sorry.
What happened?
Him and Noah Sampson, 2 fucking loser video essayist, racist fucking pieces of shit. I fucking tweeted. I opened it. I shouldn't have. Now I'm off. Now I'm triggered. Sorry. Okay.
No, pull it up. I mean,
no. Hold on.
Do you want to talk about this tweet that you saw that pissed you off? Because I think what happened?
You can stop. You can stop.
Yeah, what's the tweet?
It's just.
What's the tweet? I don't even know. Let's see. What's the tweet?
Hold on. I don't even need to respond to these fucking losers. I just realized I'm done with these guys and I need to be done. Okay. It's just people always get mad about the platforming argument. So basically, I think.
Oh, this is about him bringing in white supremacists on his channel. I forgot about that part. How many white supremacists he hangs out with?
Okay, so you said something about him bringing over.
He brought on Nick Fuentes. Are you familiar with that name?
I don't know who that is, but that's
He's a white supremacist.
He's a white supremacist.
Yeah.
He just got Pearly Things in trouble to get the Black Manosphere to finally maybe say something kind of about Pearly Things.
Okay.
He also was the one that was running around with Kanye a little while ago.
Okay, wait, just hold on, because we're getting off.
Sorry.
So he had that person on his show. You made a tweet or something about it, and then he said he hates you.
I don't even know if I made a tweet. I think I liked or responded to a tweet that Noah Sampson made about how weird it is that he was hanging out with a white supremacist. He brought him over to his house. Him and his wife cooked them, made him cookies or some shit.
Okay, so you called him out for
For platforming a white supremacist.
Okay, so you called him out for platforming a white supremacist. He said he hates you because you're alluding to him being racist, I'm assuming. And then now this has just kind of been going back and forth.
That's not even where it started. But I don't have, that's the only thing I pulled up, but that's not even where it started.
Okay.
Uh,
All right.
I do have the wait. So let's get really messy then. Like I'm not in this, but we're gonna
It
get
may be time for me
messy.
to go. Where we at? What's the next
All right,
part?
quickly. So kidology. Well, it's not from. It was gonna happen. It was gonna happen. So there are people who are telling me that I need to have conversations with kidology, and the consensus is hear it. That Kidology made a video saying do better. This I watched. You had a group on your channel to talk about her video. She then did like a 6-hour stream cut into responding to it. You then went on her channel, and it all boils down to you stopped Kidology's growth. You stopped her bag essentially, and Destiny had to step in to help her grow and help her get back on track. She has denied that Destiny is the one who helped her, but then she said behind the scenes he helped her put stuff together. He had her on, and she's growing again. How responsible do you feel for Kidology? She said she has no respect for you because you weren't willing to speak to her about some of the questions, I think, around trans issues. And now people are like forcing me to go talk to her, which I don't think she cares about. I don't think we have much to talk about. What say you?
I would really rather not talk about Kidology. I just the thing with Kidology is I am not interested in starting a mess with Black women online, even those who I don't have a strong affinity for. I'll just say that.
Okay, now you know I'm going to push back, right? Because I love that stance. That's my favorite thing you've ever said, ever. So I love it. But I feel like that stance is coming after you started messing with Kidology.
Well, the regret I had that I said to her, I think when we talked, is publishing the video. I at the time did not know, so I'll just repeat things I've already said. One thing I didn't fully understand in the moment is how little control you have over your voice and your reach. When you say, I don't know if I fuck with this person, how like even without like putting a green light on someone, that can resonate in ways that you can't predict and or control. So although all of my critiques of Kidology still stand, and I want to be, you good, Demon. See, I want to be clear. Steam, you're on YouTube. You know that's not how this works in terms of like stopping someone's bag on YouTube. You know that's not how this works. But I don't like, I won't say that her interaction with me did not have a negative effect on her channel. Most definitely. The idea that I stopped her bag independently is something she's been running with a lot that I am just going to let her run with. I'm gonna call it a day.
Did you want to have a negative effect on her channel?
No, I didn't want to have a negative effect on her channel.
Would it not be better for your message if her message wasn't there?
For my message, if her message wasn't there?
Are you guys having competing messages?
Somewhat, yeah, but no, I don't worry too much about, like, I don't see this as like a battle against other creators for like getting certain messages out there. I always call this entertainment, right?
The reason I'm not pushing back, by the way, is I'm trying to respect the fact that you said you don't want to start issues with Black women online, with a Black woman online. So I'm going to let this lie where it is, because while it is messy and I want to know more, it's not in my place, and I'm not about to push this any further.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
On that note, though, do you see how Kidology's alignment with Destiny seems? Because I feel like the questions I'm getting is whether or not I think it's an ideological alignment. And while I think they might be more ideologically aligned, I feel like she feels that's her ally. And so she's stepping in to defend. Because I watched her video on you versus Destiny. So there's an enemy now. You've created an enemy out of Kidology. Any response, and we can move on after that. That's it.
They're definitely more ideologically aligned. I wish her nothing but good things, and hope that she, excuse me, has success on the platform.
In fairness, you could talk about her. I don't, because she does not identify as a black woman. So, in fairness, wait, Patty, why are you mad?
I have a question related to that. I won't make it specifically about kidology since you said you didn't want to speak on it too much, but just to kind of replay things. You requested 50K for the debate. Destiny said to unblock him for 10K. You agreed, got no word back for 4 days, blocked. And Destiny ended up donating that to the Atlanta PD instead. To me, this felt symbolic in so far as what you were just speaking about. It feels that sometimes left-leaning people will tend to do more harm to themselves or to their cause by having interaction like this. It feels quite literally like you're pushing people further to the right, if that makes sense.
That's interesting.
Whether it was the off-putting conversation that a lot of people felt like was off-putting with kidology, or what feels like a policing of black people's blackness if they don't agree with the ideas in the left-leaning space, or the unwillingness to explain the reasoning or debate it or whatever, which is fine if you're not a debater. But it feels very off-putting, I feel like, especially for a lot of black people who may be on the fence about these issues. And I legitimately believe it will turn people off from left-leaning politics. Not only did we lose 10K for the cause, but it went quite literally to the opposite. How do you respond?
So there's a lot of things in there. One, I don't see all of this as leftist movement in action. This is content and entertainment, and so I don't put a lot of onus into the left is turning people off, because people already don't fuck with us. like it's like we are a minority ideology that is trying to scrape for a position to affect change, and we're not going to do that by we're not going to do that by arguing with white supremacists about whether or not black people are human. The real problems that people face that the left cares about are mostly happening outside of this space, and they don't have to do a lot with like the KKK. You know what I mean? Like that is a bombastic but small issue. However, there is definitely a problem of the dunk economy on both sides. You get more attention, like again, speaking to this being about content, you get more attention, more clicks, and thus more money, the more inflammatory you are. The more you can beef with other people, the more drama you create, depending on how you can curtail it and cultivate it. That's definitely a thing. And so just to finish, so like there's some validity to the point that if we wanted to holistically look at how do we spread our ideas, it's not useful that there's so much vitriol toward middle of the road people that maybe just need to be educated versus dunked
on. You can go ahead, Themis.
Isn't it our responsibility as people who understand certain things to explain it to others? Because there is a sort of condescending tone that is taken. Apparently I do this, but I don't know, and I try not to, so I'm not blaming you or whatever, because I'll own it too. But it feels like instead of explaining an idea or talking to people, we push them aside and we tend not to engage. And I'm saying we because I do this, but I'm not saying it as part of like an ideological framework, because if someone challenges something that I truly believe in, I explain it. And it feels like you don't. And it's
really,
I know you said you only debate with your equals, all other you teach. There's a lot of people who want to learn.
Well, does my actual content not count for anything?
No, oh, sorry. No, it does. I apologize. I'm talking about in your one-on-one interaction with.
Well, that's not my skill set. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a debater like that. Although, like, I'm sure I could get down if I needed to. And I also I don't know how valuable like these forms of debate are in terms of changing minds, right? Like I actually watched your back and forth with Dr. Hassan a little while ago. Do you think? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't to change his mind.
That was a myth, but it wasn't to change his mind. It was to change, if there's someone who happened to come upon that who is maybe questioning, they can watch it. They edited me so horribly, but right. I still destroyed him. I don't care what anyone says. That I feel helps people looking for the information. But to your point, if you're not a debater, why would you want to even converse with, and this is not about running, I think video essays are different than debaters, and importantly different. Why would you even want to talk to Destiny, like, at all? I know you don't.
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Yeah, no, because I would, if I were a video essays, I am
So
not
I would
a-
have killed Destiny in this particular debate. I want to be really clear. Destiny would have tried to debate me. Like I proposed debate on black issues. Destiny's not an intellectual. He's a debater.
And
He doesn't actually know anything about black issues. I would have done him like you did Dr. Hassan.
I know, because I won both of them.
He does not have receipts. He does not have data. He does not have historical context. He mostly, who are the niggas he usually argues with?
True.
So like, I was not like the only, and even then, I was not really I said $50,000 and never thought he would take the bait. When he took the bait, the first thing I did was reach out to the people I know at that organization and be like, is this cool? Is this legal? I'm gonna get somebody in trouble. Like, I don't know. This dude said he's gonna do it.
y'all are going to jail. Period.
Like, now I kind of want to do it. Can I do this? So that's when I said, yeah, let's go, please. And that's why I was rushing, because I knew like Destiny may be a witty man, but he's not stupid. And after he tweeted, he was in his feelings, and he tweeted at me, tell F.D Signifier to unblock me, because again, I did not come for this man. He came for me. He said, tell F.D Signifier to unblock me, and so I can show him proof of the money. I said, right under that, Nebraska Steve, you are unblocked.
Be about it. Be about that action and go do it.
And then we got to the next day, and I said, this dude is a sneaky, devious person with a horde of edgelords who like to dox people and like to play with people's real lives and like to do all kinds of shit. So I'm not really even comfortable having this dude unblocked. I'm sure he could let me know when the money's here some other way. Let me reblock this cat.
This is Editing Themis, and I should have done this while I was on, and I will not include any more of these in these videos, but I have to point this out. So the condition for paying the money was that FD unblocked Destiny. So reblocking him that same day doesn't actually make much sense. And I didn't want it to seem like I'm just super biased towards FD and against Destiny in this first interview. I will be talking to Destiny in the next interview. So I want to apologize for not calling that out and having FD explain why he reblocked, because even if Destiny's subscribers are quote-unquote trolls, this doesn't really help if you block him, because blocking him doesn't block them. And so this portion did not make much sense to me. And as I was taking my notes and I looked down on the notes, and one of the questions that I had in that interaction after he said that was kind of skipped over because it was such a jumbled mess on my notepad. So I take ownership of not asking him to clarify why reblock the same day, why use the excuse of the fans coming over to your page, because blocking him doesn't prevent his fans from trolling and doing what you think they do. And the condition for paying was that you unblock and come on his stream and debate him. So it seems a bit convoluted. I'm sure he probably has an excuse or explanation, and we did not get that. So that's on me. Full accountability there.
And I said, in the reblock, let me know when you got it. And then he disappeared. And if you go on his channel, it's obvious that either there's a conversation between him and a black conservative person talking about where she's telling him not to bend the knee, because nobody in his camp wanted him to do this. Like, people that are actually close to Destiny did not want him to do this. This has been a horrible look. Not only would he have paid me $10K to debate me, which proves my point about him being a clout demon, but he'd have gotten cooked. So
that's a no-no. I'ma make back and use a Volvo.
He suddenly can get the 10K and give it somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So like, who really ran? I was waiting. I did not renege.
So you were saying you wouldn't mind? Well, you don't know yet.
No. I don't really want to have anything to do with Destiny unless there is a significant financial incentive. especially now that he spit in the face of the issues that I think are important and Black
Gotcha.
people in Atlanta. And I did not want
I
that.
don't understand how you watch someone who you feel this way about.
You don't hate watch anything?
Demas, no, I don't. Demas,
I
this is
mean-
just like what we were talking about last week with like the Chris Brown and the music thing. Like if somebody feels so strongly about someone being a certain type of person, like FD, like I'm not a Destiny fan. I don't know much about him. But if all these things you're saying right now are true, or like you feel this way strongly, why do you watch his show at all? Like, why do you support it in any way?
I am a consumer of YouTube content. When I see Destiny calls Just Pearly, like the same reason that a lot of people do. There's a what's the word? A cathartic response to seeing people act a fool. Even if you don't have a lot of respect or appreciation for those people, I find it hard to believe that people are like as messy as disappointed as some of y'all in here about me not wanting to talk bad about Kadology are right now. Like, don't act like y'all don't like a mess and to hate watch and to get into things that are not good for you or not positive aspects, but still entertain you nonetheless.
No, I mean, I do. I watch the Manosphere. Like, I try to figure out what I need to talk about and what the arguments are. So, I mean, I do watch things that I don't like. Not so.
And I don't watch this man much. Like, it's literally a handful of shorts and research I did for a video earlier this year. Excuse me.
Ask for a donation feels like a purity test for fans. Is there any other thing you could have asked for, or perhaps a boxing match for a little round? You know, Destiny. Well, let me not say that because I don't know. Maybe Destiny has a black belt.
Destiny might have hands. You never know. He's got short arms, but like he might have real strong hands to end of them. But I'm not. I wouldn't challenge nobody to a fight. I'm not. You know,
so moving from like completely from Kidology, I actually really respect that you've decided to not address her, not engage. That's fair. When it comes to Destiny and him being racist, do you think in your mind, do you think he's just like Pearly Things?
I saw that. That's a really interesting comparison because I don't think Destiny's politics are genuine, and I think we all know Pearly Things' politics are not all that genuine.
Wait, why don't you think Destiny's politics is genuine?
Because of his racism and his like. There's a video. The last thing I watched of his for real, because it kind of confirmed my theory. There's a video he did where he basically was explaining to his chat the nature of his content, and what he was basically saying is there's all these different communities that there's all these different topics I can't talk about anymore because people get mad at me when I talk about them, and all these different communities. And there's only so much I can do because nobody wants to talk to me anymore, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the read I got was it was basically him admitting that him talking to the red pill is not really about like fighting misogyny because he is against misogyny. It's because that's an easy bag and it's an easy win for him because he's smarter than anybody else in that community, right? The way he's like talked about trans issues, the N-word debate. He just defended Steven Crowder. Got into a Wikidology about that, in fact, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like I don't think his politics are genuine. I think he takes the position that is easiest, most effective to argue and does that. And so for me personally, like I'm a recovering academic and I have actually been, that's why I don't, and this is not to imply shade, it's to imply a difference in experience. Because I've spent so much time like doing direct work, I don't find the drama and debates and stuff like this very meaningful because I've never seen this impact in real life. And so if his impact has only been here and it's mostly revolving, clout and arguments, I think it's just him, finding whoever wants to talk to him, whoever is shameless enough, especially like the red pill people, to get embarrassed in front of him and in front of his community. And so in a way that's similar to Pearly Things because, this is a single, y'all know, a single woman.
No one has to convince me Pearly Things is their thing. I don't watch Destiny enough to know anything about him really. And I think that's odd because I think Destiny is smart, at least in the way that he frames debates and who he debates with. But I've never really thought about whether or not he's authentic and what that means. Because when you left, people came and started cutting the clips, and I told you I wouldn't cut it, so I didn't. But the clips, and they were saying it seems like you only cared about your channel, and growing your channel, which is doing really well. But it didn't seem like you cared about truth. That wasn't my read, but the way that you're explaining Destiny reminds me a lot of what the accusations that the subscribers here were levying against you.
So go and look at my content, like my actual real content, not me like doing the thing that doesn't make me a lot of money, that just is side content, on the side channel while I'm talking to people. Go look at, I drop one video a month, and I do a lot of research and I do a lot of writing. And if you can look at that and think that that is done purely for content, if you really can compare, so like the irony, so people give Destiny credit for like defeating white supremacists, right? At the same time, he has replatformed at least 2 white supremacists, people that have been defeated. Lauren Southern and Nick Fuentes were both deplatformed white supremacists that nobody was talking about, nobody was hearing from. If the goal was to get white supremacists off the map, we had won. And then out of the blue, here's Destiny bringing them to his house to have conversations about white supremacy again. You see what I'm saying? So it's like,
no, I think that's interesting because I don't disagree. I do think there is a distinct difference, and you pointed this out, I think, in a couple of, I watch your content, by the way, just FYI.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you pointed this out where you said at least Destiny was pushing back against Nick Fuentes because he held him accountable. Like, the platforming is the issue, right,
Yes.
for you, but the substance of what they discuss, because after you said that, I went to go watch it, and he called him a racist, as a white supremacist, and he like dragged him, like meaningfully won that debate. But you were saying he put it, but that's different from a just pearly things that was like, yeah, just like slavery. So substantively there's a difference, but your argument is the platforming, because he was out of the
off the game.
Yeah,
he was like, from my perspective, and others might have a different perspective, but from a normie perspective, right? I remember hearing about Nick Fuentes during like the hot days of anti-SJW content. When the apocalypse happened, he was one of many overt white supremacists that were eventually deplatformed and kicked out of all the social media. So they had to go and start various different racist YouTubes, one of which Destiny is on, right? And somehow Destiny pulled him back up. Now maybe somebody else pulled him back up first, but somehow Destiny pulled him back up. And the thing is, and feel free to, I'll send some of the papers I found, excuse me. And I know you can do research, so go ahead and look into it. The thing about debate that I tend to believe in, that it informs my perspective, is that people that are liars and grifters don't care about losing a debate, especially when they're right on the right wing, because being further right that's the baseline of this country. People are taught to believe certain things about Black people, about queer people, immigrants, yada, yada, yada. So you don't have to convince them negative things about those people. So if a bad faith, racist, grifter, misogynist, whatever, can get in front of some people and say their shit, they're going to collect views. They're gonna, just like you said, some people in the audience are going to get it. You can push back all you want, but at the end of the day, it's a net positive for them. According to the research that I've encountered, the best thing to do with that type of person is to not give them a flat platform in the first place. And they had evidence to prove this. Even more so if that person's already been defeated in the marketplace of ideas. And this is why I curate my channel the way I do, because I do try to get at truth, and I do try to express things that I actually believe in. Versus, anti-white supremacist Destiny, he's won all the white supremacy debates. It's like what is that? What is it, Shark's Tale? Where the shark and the fish keep on resetting up the same fight just so they can keep getting paid for
no, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
It's Will Smith cartoon. He's a shark or a fish. I don't know.
I love the movie Shark Tale.
Okay. But do you get my point? Or are you just like, just let me run my mouth? It's fine either way.
No, I get your point. Like when you do that, you can just give people what they want, get money, or do what you like, promote yourself. You don't have to win. And I can understand that. So essentially, then you don't believe debates are useful, or maybe a certain kind of debate.
I don't think debates are so good that there shouldn't be a certain level of ethics around performing them for content, right? So like if a college decided for whatever reason it was going to bring in Nick Fuentes, the first problem is the college didn't do that. But then if they're going to do it, then I guess you need to get someone there to say something about it. Or better yet, if I had a neighbor come over some time ago and start saying some real homophobic shit, and I in my house, so I was like, no, let me debate you on these issues. And there's no ulterior motive for me. There's no monetary motive for me. You know what I'm saying? And in that moment, I will debate, right? But I'm not going to incentivize a conversation about like people's humanity for clicks, with the understanding that the reality is the chances of changing minds is, it's high stakes. You don't know who's really gonna respond to what. And especially if I know the person that I'm debating is not debating in bad faith, is debating in bad faith. So I think
talking about these people, like just making, wouldn't the best thing to do be just like not talk about them?
That's where I fucked up, Kay. That's why I said I fell off the wagon.
And you continue to, because you've been talking about them now. Like,
well, we in here now.
Yeah, you can't do that because I want
we in here.
I'm just saying, like,
about them now.
The conversation was already being had, Kay. So I might as well jump in and chat a little bit. But I am about to go in a second, though.
I guess.
So that you're going to go, that's good, because Destiny is here, but I'm not putting him on while you're here because that's not right. I want to hear, but I'm going to ask, is there any questions you want us to ask Destiny? I'm going to ask him about racism because I didn't know anything about this. And I have my questions now.
Hold up 1 second. 1 second. Demus, you a star tonight, man. You got everybody.
I'm excited, but I'm saddened by the idea that Destiny is racist. So I want to know. Saddened, not like, oh my God, I'm crying, but I wanted to know. I remember
ask Destiny what the punchline is to this joke that he tweeted out a day after we talked. What's the punchline here? What makes this funny? You can click on it.
All right. I got it.
I will say peace to everybody, peace to the chat, and I'll be sticking around to see what.
All right, thank you.
Nice to meet you too. Nice to meet you, Patty.
Have a good one. Told you, hey, I'm uncomfortable. Don't say the N-word. You wouldn't care because principally, you don't think you shouldn't have to say the N-word.